for Bouncy Blue activities?
Yes.
So I can tell I'm already going to need to skip back a little. So we're going to do Ants Go Marching. Now you can either do this a cappella, or you can use the teacher track. Just because you haven't heard it, I'm going to play the teacher track, but it's kind of fun. And we're going to stand up. It's a stand-up song, a direction dance. So I'm going to cue up my iPod. I wonder if we should just take a moment and talk about basics of setting up a classroom.
I think so, and
That'll be
modeling,
afterwards.
but
That'll be
also
afterwards.
modeling, like, for example, when we ask people to stand up in class, we'll say, everybody stand up!
That's
you
right.
know, and you do it with enthusiasm and smile at people so they have to smile back even if they don't want to.
It's a big
Creating a good vibe, getting that buzz going.
A lot of eye contact
Yeah.
and smiles is really great for classes. Okay, so notice I have my remote control because a lot of times it's a pain to kind of run back to your iPod and back or your CD player, whatever you want. Hey, April. Just so you know, I think you missed the spot. We're going to try to keep this line of sight fairly open for
When we sit.
when we sit at least.
When we
yeah.
sit with this one in the middle.
Yeah.
From
Best
that
light to that
paper
one.
to this paper.
Okay, so this is a march song. So I'll pretend like you guys are parents on week 1, and I'm going to be introducing this song. All right, so we're going to do a stand-up song. Let's all rise up, and we're going to march around the room. This is something you've probably heard of, the Ants Go Marching. Now, when you hear the word hurrah, I want you to take your arm and go, hurrah! Let's try it together. Hurrah! That's right. And I want big footsteps and stepping to the beat to model the rhythm to our children. The ants go marching one by one. Hurrah! Hurrah! The ants go marching one by one. Hurrah! Hurrah! The ants go marching one by one. The little one stops to suck his thumb, and they all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, boom, boom. The ants go marching 2 by 2. Hurrah! Hurrah! The ants go marching 2 by 2. Hurrah! Hurrah! The ants go marching 2 by 2. The little one stops to tie his shoe. They all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, boom, boom. The ants go marching 3 by 3. Hurrah! Hurrah! The ants go marching 3 by 3. Hurrah! Hurrah! The ants go marching 3 by 3. The little one stops to shake his knee. They all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, boom, boom. The ants go marching 4 by 4. Hurrah! Hurrah! The ants go marching 4 by 4. Hurrah! Hurrah! The ants go marching 4 by 4. The little one stops to touch the floor. They all go marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. Boom, boom, ta-da! Now I press pause. Well, since you're my man, all right, we can all find a seat again. All right.
To end right where we were sitting before.
It's my mastermind. Okay, so a couple of things there. Notice how I started off explaining just a couple of things. I said, do hurrah, and I said, everybody repeat after me. I said, say hurrah, let's try it. Hurrah! See how that worked? Now, if I had said, I want everybody to say hurrah when the time comes, and I just started the song, you might have just, people would be a little bit more confused by getting everybody to copy after you beforehand and be enthusiastic about it. Works. I'm out of breath. Notice at the end, every teacher track, whether this particular teacher track is the same as the CD itself, the only difference is I added 10 seconds of silence at the end. So I had some time to press pause with my remote control or to run over and press stop if you don't have remote control. So that's the advantage of a teacher track.
How did you decide how long to do it for?
How long the silence? I just chose 10 to 15 seconds randomly just because that seems to be enough time.
And then just going to 4, I think another song, that's all.
Oh, as far as 4? That's just what we felt was right in terms of listening CD, purposes. It would just start to get old to hear like 10 verses of the same thing on a listening CD. But now in class, if you don't use the CD, you can go as long as you want. And I wrote down here some different suggestions for rhymes for going all the way up to 10. Frankly, I think 10 would get a little bit old, but if everybody's really into it and you want to just keep going, you can keep going. So everybody has different classes with different vibes and different groups of parents that like certain songs more than others, or happen to be a little more caffeinated that day, or whatever. You know? So just you can always gauge what you want to do. Notice the things that I didn't say in advance. Stop, like you know how you stop at the part. Notice how I was modeling a lot of those things. All I told you at the beginning was hurrah and step to the beat, but there were a lot of other little cues in there that I didn't tell you, and they wouldn't have made or broken the song. But you know, hurrah, hurrah, dance come marching 2 by 2, hurrah, hurrah, dance come marching 2 by 2. Little one stopped. I had this big movement, and even if the first time through a lot of people missed it, enough people saw it to where the next time around they're going to start catching it.
Plus the surprise is fun.
Yes, that's true. The surprise is fun. Big drama is always fun and captures people's attention. Also, it's a great way for people to feel more comfortable about what you're expecting of them, the more obvious you make it. So, little one stopped to tie his shoe, and they all go marching. And I started down to the ground to get out of the rain. Now, maybe half the people got that the first time, but gradually people start to see that I'm getting down low. I go boom, boom, boom. Those are all things that if people didn't do, it wasn't going to kill the song, but they start to catch on by being really dramatic with it, so that by the end, everybody's doing it.
I think it was really cool that Michael gave one really prominent direction, and it was something you can't mess up. And you say, hooray, or hurrah. Wow, just messed it up. When you give directions, you want to keep it really simple, especially when you're trying to get people involved. So a lot of times when you see concerts or classes, someone will give a whole series of directions where people feel a little uncomfortable about what to do. But if you give a direction that is so simple, more and more people will participate.
Any questions about that one? Just a quick note, that had a teacher track. If I hadn't done the teacher track, I would have come over here to whatever pitch device I had, a keyboard or guitar. Notice this is in E minor, so I said, the ants go marching one by one. And if you turn to page 5 of your, to section 5 to your syllabus, I'm just going to point this out now. We won't do this for every song, but number 4 on the week 1 is Ants Go Marching. It says direction dance. This is the key is E minor, and it has the starting notes, B, E, E. I'm kind of like doing a one-handed guitar there. But if you had a keyboard, you know, so that's a way to find your pitch. So if you didn't use the CD and you wanted to do it a cappella, that's how you would just find your starting pitches.
Why is there a question mark in the CD section?
Well, obviously I don't know. I'm just kidding. That just means it's either way. You can do a cappella or a teacher track.
One thing that we can all do, since we're all training to be teachers, is you want to be making as much eye contact as possible. So as we're going around in that circle, your parents aren't necessarily going to be looking inside, but you should be. Looking, try and make eye contact with everybody, even if they don't look back at you. Also, this would be a good time is we're going to start to turn that praise tap on. So as things happen that we like, somebody is enthusiastic, we say their name and say, yes! Go, Michelle! And we're going to pump them up. We're trying to build up a really big feeling of fun and enthusiasm in the class.
I just also wanted to say, everyone's teaching style is so different. I mean, there's 8 of us here, there's going to be 8 different teaching styles. Some of us play guitar, some play keyboard. I don't really play either, so I mean, you'll find what works for you, but in the column where it says CD, you can play it or not, but you'll also find what works best for you. For example, in my classes, as Christy knows, I play the CD with everything. Even though, I mean, sometimes I'll stop it and we'll do some a cappella so I can add some verses, but I just find that that works for me. And I don't think it's right or wrong. I mean, everybody has a different style, so you'll kind of figure out what works best for you if you don't play an instrument. I used to bring my keyboard, and then it just got to be too much because all the kids wanted to do was plunk on it, and it was too distracting. And so I just started playing the CD, and sometimes I play the teacher tracks, and sometimes I play the real version of the song. And then I'll stop it midway, and we'll do the rest a cappella. So there are some a cappella that I do, but I just find that works for me. So I hope it's not wrong.
Everything has pros and cons, and I mean that has a lot of pros, and then the CD adds excitement, and it makes you more comfortable without having the keyboard because that had some downsides for you in your situation. one advantage of doing a cappella, educationally speaking, is that it's good for the kids. It's called audiating. They're learning to audiate, which means they're learning to hear the songs in their heads even when it's not literally being played out in the air. So like when you do it a cappella, they're probably going through that initial phase of imagining what the rest of the song sounds like, and remembering what the beat and the piano sounded like, or the guitar, whatever the song may be. And it is a nice touch to be able to do a cappella, because it just allows them to isolate the vocals, to hear the most important part that they're focusing on, and then also to imagine. Imagining music is a big step in musical development. So,
like with the ants go marching, you could always play the CD up to number 4, touch the floor, then you could turn it off and say,
oh yeah,
let's keep going, and number 5, do the hand job, you know, and just keep doing the rest of the song a cappella. So you can start it with the CD so they can hear the melody and the key that we're in, and then stop it, or stop it after 2 and do 3 and 4 a cappella. Like I usually.
What's really good, Mindy, is the point that we're not going to tell you guys what to do. These are suggestions and guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, you have a beautiful voice and should really sing a cappella, because that is, you sing with the symphony. It's one of your instruments and you should share it. Second, there are some benefits of having contrast between the CD and a cappella. And then also, if you do play instruments, bring them in. Bring them in. So there would be benefits. There would be benefits for variety.
Mm-hmm.
But if whatever works for you, that's fine.
And you know, another thing, you know, you can get creative with this stuff too. Like for instance, I made a list of 10 rhymes for 1 through 10. But you could also have some fun with it. You could do what Mindy said, play the CD at first and say, hey guys, let's keep going. Can anybody think of something that rhymes with 5? You know, well, let's think about how to make a movement out of that. Okay, let's try 5. Okay, and then boom, boom, boom. Now who can tell me what rhymes with 6? Now that might be a little better for older kids, because this age group doesn't rhyme, but the parents could have fun with it. There's a lot of things you can try, so I'm just giving you some creative examples. No one way to do anything. Okay, so any questions on Let's Go Marching?